China. A cradle of world civilization. The land that invented printing, paper and gunpowder. And under successive dynasties, the center of a vast empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Himalayas, and from the eastern steppe to the tropical South China Sea. The Chinese call it Zhongguo, the central state, or Middle Kingdom. And for more than 2,000 years, its emperors claimed a divine mandate to rule over Tianxia, all under heaven. Since 1644, this great empire has been ruled by the Qing Dynasty. They are ethnic Manchu from the north, though most of their subjects are Han Chinese. By the 19th century, the empire spans 14.5 million square km, and receives tribute from many smaller neighbors. Around 450 million people live within these borders, one-third of the world's population. It is also estimated that China accounts for one-third of the world wealth. The imperial capital, Peking, and major hubs such as Nanking and Canton, are among the greatest cities in the world. It is a multi-ethnic empire, whose self-proclaimed aim is not economic or political expansion, but the maintenance of harmony. A worldview that derives from Confucius, the 6th century BC sage. His teachings have governed society, in both public and private realms, for 2,000 years. Fundamental values such as reverence for parents and ancestors, loyalty, and benevolence seek to create an orderly and harmonious society. It is also one that is rigidly conservative. Young men from well-to-do families spend years studying the Confucian classics, in preparation for the imperial civil service exam. This is the only route to the higher levels of the Qing administration. But, governed by scholarly bureaucrats, and an emperor who is both revered and feared, China is failing to keep up with a rapidly changing world. For the time being, foreign merchants are restricted to the southern port of Canton. Such splendid isolation will prove impossible to sustain. 1839 marks the beginning of China's century of humiliation. For years, British merchants had been smuggling opium from India into China, a vastly lucrative trade. The consequences for China are an addiction epidemic. But when Qing officials seize and destroy large quantities of the drug in Canton, the British react with force. Using superior naval technology, the British quickly overpower the antiquated Chinese fleet. The Chinese are forced to sign the Treaty of Nanking, the first of what will later be called the Unequal Treaties. The treaty grants special rights to the British, opening 5 ports to British merchants, and ceding the territory of Hong Kong. A second Opium War soon extends similar advantages to France and the USA. The Russian Empire further exploits Chinese weakness to seize territory in the northeast. While a horrifying civil war, the Taiping Rebellion, devastates South and Central China for 14 years. The death toll is estimated at 40 million, making it one of the bloodiest conflicts in history. While China suffers, her enemies grow stronger. In 1895, a newly modernized Japan, long seen as inferior to China, easily defeats the Qing Navy, and wins territorial concessions of its own. Westerners mock China as the sick man of Asia, a giant fallen prey to the imperialism of foreign powers, better adapted to life in the modern world. But, by the turn of the 20th century, there is a growing sense of outrage among the Chinese people, and a determination to fight back. In 1899, a movement emerges in northern China, calling itself the Society of Righteous and Harmonious Fists. Its members become better known as the Boxers. They are outraged by the weakness of the Qing Dynasty, the spread of Christianity, and China's repeated humiliations. Their goal? To expel all foreigners from China, and end the shameful concessions made to them. The Boxers begin by attacking Western-funded railways, Christian missionaries, and Chinese converts. In June 1900, thousands of Boxers enter Peking and lay siege to the area in the city where foreigners live. They adopt the slogan, "Uphold the Qing, destroy foreigners." For the ruling Empress Dowager Cixi, the Boxers are a problem, but also an opportunity. Xi decides to throw the weight of the Qing state behind the Boxers, and declares war on the foreign powers. It is a terrible miscalculation. In response, a 20,000-strong Allied expeditionary force, combining troops from 8 different nations, descends on Peking. Amidst numerous atrocities, the Boxers are crushed, and the city is looted by the Allied armies. The Qing court is forced to sign the Boxer Protocol. Under its terms, China must pay crippling indemnities over 4 decades, almost twice the government's annual revenue. This is China's greatest humiliation yet. Under huge pressure to modernize the state, Xi and the Qing court finally undertake sweeping reforms. The archaic civil service exam is abolished, to be replaced by modern schools with a Western curriculum. The first steps are taken to create a constitution, which will impose limits on the power of the emperor. The military is reorganized along Western lines, with improved officer training, equipment, and weaponry. Its most powerful contingent is the Beiyang Army, based in northern China, under General Yuan Shikai. But many believe the Qing reforms do not go far enough, and that only wholesale revolution can save China. One such would-be revolutionary is Sun Yat-sen. From a humble Cantonese family, Sun was educated outside China, in Hawaii. He is very different from China's old Confucian elite. A Christian convert, Sun speaks fluent English but struggles with classical Chinese. Following his involvement in several failed uprisings against the Qing, he lives in exile in Europe. In 1905, Sun travels to Japan. In Tokyo, he founds the Tongmenghui, a revolutionary alliance whose goal is to overthrow Manchu rule and replace the Qing monarchy with a democratic republic. He advocates the 3 principles of nationalism, democracy, and the people's livelihood. To his supporters, Sun Yat-sen represents hope in a new future. And that future seems to be drawing closer. In 1908, after a turbulent 47-year reign, Empress Dowager Cixi dies at the age of 72. The imperial throne of China falls to a 2-year-old infant, Pu Yi. At a time of crisis and mounting opposition, the Qing Dynasty has never been weaker. The 9th of October 1911. Hankow, Hubei Province. Members of a secret revolutionary society with links to the Tongmenghui are making bombs, when there's an explosion. Their cover blown, the authorities arrest and later execute several of the group's leaders. But it only pours fuel on the fire. An uprising breaks out in the neighboring city of Wuchang. Crucially, soldiers of Hubei province's new army are persuaded to mutiny and join the revolt. After 24 hours of fierce fighting, claiming hundreds of lives, Wuchang falls to the revolutionaries. On the 12th of October, a new military government claims authority in the province.